This second recipe is going to use cocoa pebbles, and it's basically Scotch-a-roos, okay, with a little twist of cocoa pebbles. Now, on that last recipe, I did not use vanilla, which it normally calls for in the basic Rice Krispie recipe, but here's the deal. You don't need it because the Fruity Pebbles are so full of flavor. In this recipe, however, we are going to use the vanilla. So basically, this is your Scotch-a-roo recipe. And to make the Rice Krispie part, we're going to have, and this time I'm using real Rice Krispies, we're going to have 5 cups of Rice Krispies, a cup of Cocoa Pebbles, and for the saucy part, we're going to have a cup of corn syrup, a cup of sugar, a cup of peanut butter, and your measuring stuff. And then for the frosting part, y'all, this is the most important thing. People screw this up all the time. It's called Scotch-a-roos because you need butterscotch chips in the topping. You cannot do this recipe if all you use is semi-sweet chocolate chips. Don't even tell me it tastes even close to the same. They're called Scotch-a-roos. Need butterscotch chips. Okay. And I have pre-greased this pan. So that's the pan we're going to use. So the first thing we're going to do is turn this on low again. And I'm going to put a cup of corn syrup in. And you cannot put the vanilla in until after it's all heated up. You're going to put a cup of corn syrup in. And I'm going to use my spatula to get all that corn syrup out. And then, I don't know if y'all have seen any of my other videos. People tell me to label stuff. I label everything. So I just, so you know, I label everything. That's a reference to my Clorox video if you've not seen that. And then I always keep a measuring cup in my main staples. So we're going to add a cup of sugar to that. And basically, it's now a waiting game until the sugar fully dissolves into, because right now you can see it's all crystallized, right? We have to wait till or it's in crystals. We have to wait until the sugar dissolves into the corn syrup. And that'll take a couple minutes. While we're kind of waiting for that to happen, I'm going to measure out the Rice Krispies like I did before so that it's ready to go. So basically, again, I'm going to take Rice Krispies first. This opens easy. Okay, Rice Krispies. Again, this is my 4-cup measuring thing to make it faster. So I'm putting 4 cups of Rice Krispies in. Another non-exact science recipe. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to try to show you the difference. Like, do you see how all of those are perfectly colored? It's just different with the off-brand. I mean, they taste the same, but I'm just telling you, they're just evenly colored. So that's the difference. So we're going to put 4 cups into there. And I don't have another 1 cup out. I'm just going to, this is a 2-cup one, so I'm just going to put a cup in there. That's maybe a little more, but they're right. And then I'm going to put a cup of Cocoa Pebbles in. Because, you know, I love my Cocoa Pebbles just as much as I love my Fruity Pebbles. So, again, this is my 2-cup one, but I'm only going to fill it halfway. So, there we go. I'm going to make a mess. Ooh. You guys, I'm telling you, a cup is enough with these. It richens it up just enough. So I'll put a cup in. And I'm going to shake this up just a tiny bit. Watch this explode all over me. Okay, shake that up. And then I'm going to check to see. It's not really bubbling yet, but got a ways to go because it literally has to be all dissolved or the recipe is not going to work. So I'll see you in a couple minutes as we keep. So I turned it on medium because it wasn't really melting much. So I've turned it on medium. I don't know if you can tell. It's getting there. It's not quite there. We need to let it, let those crystals kind of get a little more melted into that corn syrup but we're almost there, almost there. And again, we're gonna wanna take it off to add the tiny bit of vanilla. And you know, one of my favorite things when I add vanilla, usually it goes psst, there's this little sizzle. I don't know if it'll happen today, but we'll try it. It's just, there's still some crystals. So give it another minute, we'll be right back. So this is actually taking about 5 or 6 more minutes, but the danger with this is if you cook it too high too fast, you get candy and it's crunchy and it's not good. So you have to be careful when you're melting this. Now, it's almost clear, and when I press, I don't know if you can see that, but when I press on the bottom, you can almost see no sugar crystals. There's just a few left. So this is all but ready. I'm going to give it a tiny bit more time because we want it to be just a little clearer. And anyway, but the danger, like I said, the more I heat it up, the more likely it is to end up candy, and you just don't want that. Okay, our little sugar crystals are almost gone, almost clear. So, you know, I'm just not gonna take any more risks with this heating any further. It's good enough. So I'm gonna turn off that heat and let's see if it will do the little sizzle thing with this. So, you ready? Okay, normally when you add, hold up. I didn't do it. Normally it does a little, like, because it's really hot, but, oh, there, sizzle. Do you see it? Now it's sizzling. Do you see that? Kind of see that sizzle? Those are bubbles. Yep, made the bubbles. All right, it was hot enough. It's good. Okay, so I'm going to put that vanilla in, and then I'm going to add, I measured this out, sorry. I'm going to add my cup of peanut butter to the mix. I'm going to stir that puppy up, just like that. Get that good and mixed together. And then I'm going to throw in my Cocoa Pebbles with my Rice Krispies. And we're going to stir that together, just like that. That burns. It's amazing. And sometimes with this recipe, I put it back on that heat that I've turned off, just to keep it a little bit warm, so that the sugar doesn't solidify too quickly. It's just kind of a little tip, because sometimes you don't get it all mixed up before it starts to solidify. It's a little bit different than the marshmallows. This is much more oil based, if you understand that. So looks pretty well mixed up. I think that's good. All right, so I'm gonna take this and do this, and then I'm gonna dump this in here. This is a little bit bigger pan. This is a 10 by 14. The other one was 9 by 13. Now, here's the thing. I like a little bit bigger pan for this particular recipe, just because it's richer than the other one. I know you'll see a couple clumps of goo. It's fine. It'll still end up sticking together as we press it out into the pan. So again, I take that parchment paper, which I will rip out now, and I'm gonna press it in shape, because any other way just doesn't make sense. Parchment paper is noisy. Good enough. Doesn't have to be completely flat. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to stick this one in the fridge to cool, because we have to frost it. I'm going to let it sit there for a good 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna make the frosting topping to go on it. That, remember, has to have butterscotch chips or it's not a Scotch-a-roo. Okay, since sometimes I lose my head, I got a little ahead of myself. So what I did to make the frosting, Lord Almighty, is a cup of butterscotch chips, a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, melted them over medium heat in this pan, which is now empty. Then pour it on top of the goods that has been in the refrigerator. And we're going to spread that out. And I'm telling you, y'all, this stuff is yummy. But you have to remember, the key thing is you've got to have the butterscotch chips. You've got to have the butterscotch chips. It's what makes the flavor Scotch-a-roos. Anyway, so I hope that you have enjoyed this little trip through Rice Krispie land and what you can do with Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles just to kind of add a little bit of flavor. But in my experience, the Fruity Pebbles goes better with the general classic marshmallow recipe, and the Cocoa Pebbles goes better with the Scotch-a-roo recipe, though you can trade out Cocoa Pebbles in the marshmallow recipe and it'll be okay. But if I were you, I would not trade out the Fruity Pebbles and put them in the Scotch-a-roos, because that's just going to be a flavor you're not going to want to stomach. So anyway, hope y'all have a great day. Let me know if you try them and follow my socials. You guys, we just want to spread the message of positivity and love, and I hope you guys go make these treats and have fun doing it, and blessings.